There is a phenomenon I have observed for a long time. It happens to almost every man, but most people don't realize what they did wrong until the relationship has already ended. When a woman first becomes interested in you, everything feels very natural. She will initiate contact, reply to your messages instantly, and ask what you are doing when you disappear for a while. You get a strange illusion that this time is different, that this person really has feelings for you. But the problem starts here though. The collapse of many relationships does not begin with arguments, but with a very quiet change. She does not suddenly hate you, nor does she clearly reject you. She just slowly becomes colder. And the cruelest part is that you cannot find the reason. Because from your perspective, you did nothing wrong. In fact, you may even feel that you have become better than before, more attentive, more proactive than before. But attraction is precisely being lost within these behaviors that seem correct. The truth is often not that you did one specific thing wrong, but that you kept repeating behaviors you believed were right, which were actually destroying attraction. And at the core of all this, there is only one logic. When woman starts becoming interested in you, her brain is not getting to know you, but instead, it is constructing you. And the human brain has a very basic but powerful mechanism. When information is incomplete, it automatically fills in the gaps. It uses very few details to generate a complete personality. One of your sentences becomes a personality trait. One of your reactions becomes an emotional pattern. One of your habits becomes a lifestyle. And this reconstructed version of you is often more attractive than the real you because it is fluid, unfinished, and still open to imagination. This is where the problem begins. Most men at this stage do something extremely fatal without realizing it. They rush to make themselves clear. When she asks you something, you fully explain. When she is slightly curious, you elaborate completely. When she gets a little closer, you respond even more. You think you are being sincere. You think you are adding value. You think you are showing your true self. But in her experience, you are actually doing the opposite. You are constantly closing her imagination space. Let's break down a very concrete scenario. She asks you, what do you usually do? You begin to answer seriously. You talk about your job, your daily rhythm, your hobbies, your weekend plans. You even add details to make yourself seem more complete. The more you say, the more you feel you are adding value. But in her brain, something else is happening. She is turning you from unknown into known state in her mind. And the moment someone shifts from unknown to known, something begins to decline irreversibly. Interest declines from that point. Because interest never comes from understanding, but from the process of still trying to understand. Now look at a second very common behavior that almost no one notices. She sends you a message and you reply instantly. You think this is enthusiasm, care, politeness. But her system does not interpret it this way. What she receives is a very direct signal. You are always waiting for her. She is the center of your priority. Your attention is empty, clearly. And someone who is always available has no pull in psychological structure. Because pull comes from distance, not closeness. The faster you appear, the faster you respond, the faster you satisfy her, the faster she loses the feeling of pull. Now, a third situation appears. She says she likes the seaside. You immediately say you like the seaside too. And even add where you have been. You think this is resonance and connection. But you are doing something more hidden. You are flattening differences here. And difference is the source of tension. When two people become completely similar, the relationship enters a dangerous state. No conflict, no boundaries, no problems, and therefore no space for exploration. And a relationship without exploratory space becomes psychologically static. Static means predictable in behavior. Predictable means no stimulation occurs. No stimulation means rapid cooling. Now, a fourth behavior that happens almost every day. She asks if you are free on the weekend. You say yes without hesitation. You even think this is cooperation. But in her mind, this translates into something else. You are empty. You are waiting. You have no rhythm of your own. And a person without their own rhythm has no sense of direction. Without direction, there is no attraction structure. Because attraction is never always available, but needs to be coordinated. Now, a fifth, subtle, but highly destructive behavior. She casually tells you something small. 2 weeks later, you bring it up very precisely in conversation. You think this is a bonus, you think this is attentiveness. But she may feel a slight discomfort, because you remembered too clearly. You have been quietly storing what she said. This creates a subtle feeling that she is being overly observed. And when someone feels they are being seen too clearly, they do not move closer. They start to withdraw instead. Now, a sixth situation, also the most easily misunderstood. You have just met not long ago, and she asks you some questions. You answer almost everything clearly: your life, your experiences, your emotional patterns, your past, your future plans. You even voluntarily add things she did not ask. You think this is openness. You think this is honesty. But in attraction structure, this is called premature completion. Once a person who has not yet been unfolded is fully explained in one go, their image becomes fixed in the other person's mind. And once it is fixed, it means the end, because the human brain does not maintain curiosity towards something that has already been fully understood. And the core of all attraction can actually be summarized in one sentence: are you still able to be further understood? If the answer is no, then no matter how good your conditions are, or how frequent the interaction is, the relationship will enter a slow but certain decline. And the problem with many men is that they are not attracting someone. They are rapidly delivering a complete version of themselves. They fear silence, fear awkwardness, fear not being understood. So they keep explaining, keep adding, keep proving. But the more completely you explain yourself, the less space you leave for imagination. And when imagination disappears, emotion begins to cool down. This is why some people did nothing wrong yet are still slowly phased out of relationships gradually. Because the problem is not error but completion. A prematurely completed person has no further expectation in the mind. So when you ask why she suddenly stopped liking you, the real answer is often not that she changed, nor that you became worse. It is that she no longer needs to imagine you. And when imagination stops, the relationship stops as well. This is also why truly attractive people are never the most perfect ones, but those who are never fully understood, those who can still unfold, those who create a little more question every time they are encountered. Because attraction does not come from certainty, but from uncertainty. And once certainty appears, everything begins to move toward an ending. Today's sharing ends here for now. If you like my channel, please subscribe. Take care, as always, seriously.